Are you Red
XIII?
Red.
I felt pretty certain that he didn't come with any accessories, but apparently his teeth and his gums is an accessory. And of course there's a bunch of plastic that's wrapped around every little... And I never ever remember to bring scissors. This takes forever. He's a lot darker than I thought he would be. I assumed that he was gonna be very bright and saturated because that's what all these are. Look at the base of his tail. That's just a dark brown, but I guess it fits with the style, and obviously it would probably be a bit boring if his entire body was just like this back leg, but that was kind of what I expected actually. I expected his entire body to be more or less like this. Oh, okay. So the tattoo is wrong. It's only supposed to be on the left side, but for some reason it's on both sides. But I guess since we only see him from one angle on the concept art, and that is what this is based on, I think the people who manufactured these just had to guess that he was symmetrical when he isn't. He's definitely the most posable of my Red XIII figures, I think. I haven't really played around with my PlayArts Kai, but this one can at least hold his own weight on the actual paws. My PlayArts Kai sort of has to lean on that part and not just the pads. And, oh. I
mean, I am kind of curious. They are soft.
Huh?
His hairpiece with the feathers and stuff is completely loose. It's just dangling. And his earrings are actually metal, so it matches Barret's necklace pretty nicely. Although Barret's earring is actually plastic. But his face looks pretty cool. You can open the mouth. And I guess one thing that's unique about this figure is that you can turn the head sideways, which you can't on any of the others, I don't think. So you can actually have him do the pose that he does on the box. And this is something that I noticed when I was taking off the plastic. This part of his head is very loose. You're supposed to be able to take it off to switch out the teeth. And the only difference with the teeth is that they are, short and long, which looks really weird. I think I'll keep this showbiz grin.
On second thought.
The one thing that's actually pretty interesting with these Red XIII figures is what they do with the eye that he has lost. Here they went for this white cross on his eye, which is kind of gross, because I'm like, does that mean that we're seeing part of his eye that's just turned into goo or something? Like, what are they implying with having it white? I'll take it as a stylistic choice, but I do believe I have at least one figure where that scar is green. So that's obviously pretty interesting. And for a quick little size comparison, if you don't have any of these, here he is next to a Funko Pop. And here's Cloud, obviously. There you go. That's the actual size. And now let's compare them all. I do have Sephiroth as well. But as you can see, I am running out of space on this table. I think he fits in pretty well. That's more or less perfect if you ask me. This style continues to be executed perfectly. Say what you will about the loose body parts and the price and how cheap they feel. At least they look good, and that's what I'm buying them for. I'm buying them so that they can look good on my shelf. So if you want one set of figures that has all the characters that looks good, this is the set to get. And with that, I think it's time to place him in the collection, and I'll then compare him to my other Red XIII figures. Alright, sorry about the weird camera angle, but this is the best that I can do when I'm gonna place a figure basically at the ceiling. Here we go, just need to move these out of the way and move these two a bit over like this. And also, I forgot to mention that there's a wire inside the tail, so I tried to match the shape of the tail on the actual concept art, which is the same shape as these two figures up here. So there you go. And this is actually incredibly special because this is my Red XIII figure, number 13.
Number 13. Roxas.
It doesn't really become more special than that. And this is what I mean when I say that this guy can't hold his own weight. He has to lean on like the back of his heel. I don't know what that part is called on animals, but the heel essentially. And now that I've had the time to look at him more closely and compare him to all my other Red XIII figures, I am noticing some new differences. But one thing that I've never thought about before are the colors of these beads that he has in his hair that hangs down. In Remake, they're black, but in this figure, they're like a turquoise. In the play arts, they're blue. But apparently, in the original concept art, they are supposed to be silver, which the Bring Arts actually got correct. And also, speaking of the concept art, apparently the scar over his eye is actually green. I'm sure that's like a color grading thing and not actually supposed to tell us anything about the actual scar, like it's poisoned or something. And I think one last thing I'll say about this, I am slightly disappointed by the box. The fact that I actually cannot display the boxes without one sort of being on its side, essentially. They could have easily just had the box upright, but just not included an image of his entire body on the box.